Hey guys, I'm here. Welcome back for episode 7 of Agatha All Along. Next week is the 2-part finale, so we only have one more week of the show left, which is still kind of cool that they're doing that, even if it is going to be a pain in the butt, editing and recording all of that in the same night, those final 2 episodes, that they're kind of wrapping it up right before Halloween. Last episode gave us pretty much most of the information that we've been wondering about Teen up until this point. We got his identity, we got to see how he got to where he is currently, and a lot of those steps from his point of view. It was really interesting, very enlightening. It left us off in a very interesting spot, as at least by the end of that episode, the only 2 people still standing was Agatha and Billy, as they took off with their shaky alliance to see out the rest of the road. And yeah, man, I'm really curious to see what happens. Like, is Jen and Lilia like actually dead or what? You know, we also didn't see Rio yet at this point, so we gotta get some questions answered about that as well. But I feel like we all kind of know at this point. We also seemingly confirmed last episode that the Black Heart that was meant to be part of the group was Billy, not Rio. We got the indicator on the phone. We got some of the jewelry that he was wearing as well. And I think they even like saw like a post from the showrunner confirming as such. The whole thing was called like, you know, it was about discounting who he was and what he brought to the table, calling him nothing more than a familiar when that is anything but the truth. So I think he was actually the 5th member the entire time, but when they fell on the ranks, you know, and used that spell, it brought up a little something extra. So let's go ahead and hop in. Guys, if you want to see the full reaction, as always, you can check it out over on Patreon, or if you're a member of the channel, get you access as well. It is a watch-along format, so you will need your own footage to sync up with the time codes for actually the entire episode. Over there, you get the same thing for all the other shows and movies we cover on the channel. You also get to suggest and vote on what movies to react to each month. It's just a great way to support the channel, help us do the things that we do over here. But at the end of the day, I really appreciate it. Enjoy this reaction. To at least leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already. With that all said and out of the way, let's go ahead and hop into episode 7, Death's Hand in Mine. Sounds like we're going to be getting some more answers in this one, I presume. Here we go.
Are you all right, ma'am?
I was chased out of every village I passed through for accurately predicting tragedy.
Are we looking behind us or ahead? Your lifeline is broken in 2. What? The tower reversed.
Well, they are focusing on all of the Lilia scenes in this previously on. So, one, I think she's still hanging around, and I'm sure we're going to be getting answers as towards what was going on with a lot of her little spasms and episodes. Oh. Whoa.
I'll get a nosebleed trying that hard to read my mind. You just can ask me your questions. Aloud.
Okay then, where's Rio?
Not that question. Any other queries for your old babysitter? It's the whole reason you bought a ticket to ride, isn't it? I'm your mom's ex. Best friend.
I'll get what I want at the end of the road. She's not my mom. I have a mom.
Oh. Interesting.
Is Wanda Maximoff really dead?
Yes. No. Maybe.
Did you see a body?
Yes, I did.
Did anybody else?
It's hard to say.
No.
You want straight answers? Ask a straight lady.
That's different.
Yo, whoa. That's a bit of an upgrade from some of the little shacks we've been bumping into up until this point.
Mistress. In my experience.
In your experience? I honestly believed your experience would be the key to our success here.
We're alive.
Now I wonder if you've ever been on the road at all.
Ooh. Oh, like he was out of eye line there, and you could see the facade crumble. Oh, yo, she's the Wicked Witch, and he is Maleficent. That is beautiful. Wait, okay, we saw Lilia falling into that shadow, into that pit. Is she Glinda? She the Good Witch?
Do you think this is important?
Dude, that is awesome.
It's tarot. I know this, kind of.
This is her trial. Well, oop, that can't be good.
I'll read for you, I guess.
No time like the present.
Dude, she looks good. They both do. I love this.
The horse-drawn carriage.
The chariot?
Yeah.
It's literally written on the card.
So, obviously you're leaving somewhere behind, and you have these sphinxes with you, and they represent your
Go on.
mysteriousness.
Oh, you have a real gift.
Okay, this card hasn't really come up much for me, so.
Oh! Lovely!
I'll try another one. Seven of Swords.
At least you're on theme.
I know this one, it's about deception and betrayal, but it's reversed. So that means the opposite. You're being truthful. Well, that can't be right.
My turn. Tarot is a con like any other. There's no magic to it. There's no skill.
That's not true.
Eeny, meeny, miny.
Oh, she just slapped one down. Oh,
This is a numbers game. We keep at it until we get the right cards in the right spots or the ceiling runs out of swords.
I'm not sure how much math you did back in Salem, but that will take forever.
Oh, we still have some time.
God. Oh! Well, hey, it looks like it actually filled back in the ones that fell down, so you could probably launch them forever. Oh, wait.
I was falling.
Oh.
Yeah, we both
Oh!
were.
Oh! Where? Yeah, where the fuck? They're under the road now.
You told me that they
Teen
were.
kicked us off the road.
The son of the Scarlet Witch kicked us off the road.
What? Teen is the son of the Scarlet Witch? How do you know? I told you.
Yeah.
Damn.
Fittingly, you and I had a very grounding heart-to-heart conversation.
Us? Really?
Okay, rude. 5 minutes ago, Lilia would never say something like that. You said this might happen, but you're being extra wispy.
Wispy?
Kooky.
Which is it? Am I wispy or am I kooky?
Both, if I'm honest.
Alice! Alice, don't try to save Agatha!
Oh!
Lilia, what do you see?
Oh, wow. Oh. Oh.
Ah, capisco. You are visiting. How long has it been?
Dude.
Centuries.
She like wades through time with her mind. It's wild.
I was bad at tea leaves.
This is a fiction you told yourself and tell yourself still.
Because it's true.
What do you see, Lilia?
You're confused again. It's okay.
I'm not confused.
I'm talking about the Salem 7.
I know that. You think I'm batty, is that it? You look at me and you see some doddering old broad.
Well, tell me what more I should see when I look at you. No. I mean it. Tell me. You mentioned something about gaps?
The flow of time is an illusion, Jen. When I was a child, I experienced my life out of sequence. I would get these flashes, these gaps. Now it's happening again, and it's
getting worse.
It's getting worse.
That sounds terrifying.
Sounds a little like Alzheimer's in a way.
Maybe because I'm close to the end.
Of the road? Like your full powers returning?
Maybe not so much.
So sure I want it.
Oh!
Agatha?
What?
Did you not see
What the
imminent
fuck?
impalement in your future?
Dude. Oh shit, they're all here now.
We are not cool, teenager.
Damn, using his full name.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have lashed out at you like that. You didn't deserve to. I'm not lying to you. It was a surprise to me, too. If I'd have known, I would have. Of course, I would have used it to save Alice.
You're reading my mind.
Aww.
because it's so loud.
I remember you now. Your bar mitzvah. Jen.
So we got Maleficent. I think that's Galinda, the Wicked Witch, and then the Evil Queen.
What are you wearing?
I don't want to talk about it.
What am I wearing? This is so demeaning.
Hey, focus up, Calderu. We can be culturally offended later.
Oh, but yeah, like it just reminds me of like the final days of like my grandparents when they had their Alzheimer's flaring up real bad towards the end. They would like hop through different memories and time periods. They would be confused. They would be thinking they were talking to high school friends. They thought my mom was still a child and all these different things. She'd be asking about where her husband was and all this other stuff when he'd long since passed. Like it's just,
I saw what was going to happen to you that night. I saw who you were and who you would become. I knew you'd need time.
no.
We didn't even put any cards down!
Maybe no cards is as bad as the wrong ones.
Yeah, man, it seems like it's reloading.
What did I do wrong?
Make it stop! I won if I could! I hated this the first time!
Lilia's being weird.
I hated this the first time. God. Yo. And that was... Yo. This is so good.
Stop.
Tell me about your life now.
What?
Are you rooted in nature?
Not especially, no.
Are you nimble with your craft?
If I was, I wouldn't be here.
Have you a coven?
It didn't work out for me the first time. It's sure not going well now.
So much fear, even now.
Please just tell me how to control what's happening.
Your task is not to control, but to see.
What?
I was hoping I would get to skip this part entirely.
You said this used to happen to you when you were younger. Why did it happen?
Because I wanted it to. I ignored it. I put it away.
Why?
Because all I saw was death.
Lovely.
Is that?
Shelby.
And then that's how they made it in here.
I wish Lilia was here.
No. Oh, you got your wish.
My task is to see. Who massacred this spread? Who's the querent?
You mean the subject? Me. I guess I'm the queering.
Please ask your question.
How are we gonna get out of here?
Question must be vital to his journey on Earth.
I'd say it's pretty vital.
Lilia, can you just steal?
Proper tarot takes time and care. And leads to large gaping wounds.
Am I William or am I Billy?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
Lilia knows what she's doing.
This is the safe passage spread. The first card is you. Next comes what's missing. Here is the path behind. Here is the path ahead. Of course, you will face obstacles. You must overcome all to reach your destination. What, no snide remarks?
That sounded good to me.
Good. Now, team, I want you to hold your question in your mind.
Aw.
Pick a card. You
The
are
magician. Aw.
You have enormous potential and the ability to turn all of your goals into reality. Very fitting. Choose your next card. What's missing? The sun. Good fortune. Joy. Reunion.
Reunion.
Pick again. The path behind.
I wonder if she dies reading these.
Get off me!
Aww.
From the beginning, but now I love you guys. What am I missing?
Esatto. What are you missing? Why are you on this journey?
I didn't want to come.
Then why did you?
To get my power back.
Is it gone? Where did it go? This is not
Yeah,
the true
she never
reason.
lost it.
I'm a forgotten woman.
Then remember yourself.
What's worth remembering? That you died? That I saw it coming? Our entire coven wiped out by a fever? I saw it, I told you, but it didn't change anything.
That comes for us all.
You say it like it's a comfort.
It is what we all have in common.
When will it come for me? I was falling. I will fall.
What will you do with your remaining time?
Aww.
Jen, wake up.
What happened?
The son of the Scarlet Witch telepathically kicked us off the road.
I have a lot of questions.
Agatha is in the trial with Billy.
Who is Billy?
The son of the Scarlet Witch. Try to keep up. It's a divination trial. Tarot. We've got to find the bookshelf. I can see all the pieces falling into place. The gaps are filling in. I'm telling you now because in a few minutes I'm not going to remember any of this.
Okay. Which way do we go?
Well, what are the options?
Is that the way out? Off the Witch's Road?
Oh. Damn, so they had the choice to leave.
The 7.
Hide.
Oh my god. It'd be menacing if it didn't look so goofy. I love it though.
Right now, I'm going to take this path toward my trial. Agatha and Billy need my help. I hope you'll join me.
Why?
Because you are my sister in the craft.
No.
I know what I did wrong. My path winds out of time. I was reading for the wrong person. I am the traveler.
Oh.
I am
The Queen of Cups.
Now you see.
empathetic, intuitive, inner voice to be trusted.
Yes, you're a mensch, Lilia, but let's say we place a card.
What's missing? Three of Pentacles.
Oh.
Collaboration, community, singular voices waiting to harmonize. I needed you. My coven.
This is heartbreaking, man. Because I think this is gonna end with her dying.
Wands. For the fire, fights bravely.
We're running out of time, Lilia.
The path ahead.
And so is she.
High Priestess. Immense spiritual power, unable or unwilling to use it.
Wow.
Obstacles. Three of Swords.
Oh, whoa.
Sorrow. Grief. The windfall. Tower reversed. Disaster. Destruction. Sudden upheaval, but reversed. It means miraculous transformation.
Oh.
And finally, the destination.
Oh. Oh, is it Rio?
Don't you recognize me,
Yeah, it
Lilia?
is.
You get your power, and I get my bodies.
Who's here with us tonight?
Death.
Death.
In the end, all roads lead to me.
Oh, whoa.
Rio is.
What happened?
Rio. She's dead.
She's what?
The original Green Witch.
Oh.
What can I say? I like the bad boys.
The 7. They're here.
Quick, everyone in the Iron Maiden.
But she survived that trial, but did she die out of order?
What?
Go.
Oh, she's not gonna go with them.
How?
Magic.
Thank you.
I'm not going before you.
You're the path ahead, Jennifer.
Yep.
Lilia.
I loved being a witch. You may not know this about the road, but when you successfully complete a trial, like I just did, it's not a good idea to overstay your welcome. Usually, something terrible happens. Disaster, destruction, sudden upheaval. Like the tower, upright.
Yep. Oh, she flipped it. Oh, that is sick. Oh, they're gonna fall into the swords. Or, well, float into the swords. Fall? Yes. Dude, stage fatality. Wow. Holy shit. And then she falls. That's what she saw when she... It was just blacked out when we saw it. Wow. Is that it? Nope. I thought we would cut to credits there.
Let us begin.
Aww. She's like in a time loop almost. That is wild. The song choice too. Oh, dude, that was emotional. I felt that one. That was such a beautiful episode. It did indeed connect so many of those pieces together. And like her mind floating through time into different scenarios whenever this would happen. Like she would be like uprooted from where she is currently to moments and times out of order. Which is why after a while she didn't know how to make that her strength. After a time when she didn't have like a goal, a purpose, and when she's just kind of meandering through life because she was terrified of the things she did see, like her end, the end of others, and the fact that they could never stop it. Like, what was the point of seeing any of these things? We can't really change anything. I think a lot of it comes with contentment and acceptance of where you are, who you are, and what inevitably is going to be around the corner, not to be afraid of that. A lot of people are afraid of their futures, afraid of what's around the corner, and sometimes that keeps them from even living in the moment. And I think that's kind of the lesson in the end, because it brought her to this coven. She tried to tell herself she always wanted to be alone, that it was better for her to be a hermit. Why put yourself through all these different things if people around you are just going to die, betray you, hurt you, whatever. But in the end, it's all of those feelings that add value to those relationships over this short little time. She grew to care for this coven. She went with them in the first place because that's something she's secretly denying herself all this time and trying to convince herself that being alone was better. And then she just came into her own, understood her power, and like being like future her and like hopping into her first day of training in her old coven. And we got to see that glimpse a few episodes back when we were at the trial with the water and the poison, when she stepped in that room and we saw that woman that she was sitting across from, her corpse at that very same table, and young her walking into that room as well. And then just seeing all these different little spasms and episodes she's had throughout this all connect into like a cohesive chain of events was beautifully done, all culminating in like this readout of everybody in the room, especially with the representations. Once we got the idea that she was the target, she was the one meant to be read in this trial, and we got to see how the cards read everybody else. And the two, I think, most telling ones I thought were with Billy. What was it? Like the tower was upside down, so instead of like great catastrophe, it was great change. He's got the potential to unlock all of his different whatever, because he also did try reading him, and he got the magician, so it was a little bit of both. Speaking of Billy, we also learned why Lilia put the spell on him. You know, when she did his read at the bar mitzvah, she saw what was to come later that night, as well as what was to come later down the road, and figured that this sigil would be a great way to at least give him the time to process all of these changes. And when he no longer needed it, of course, the sigil would dissipate, knowing that after everything that happened, if it got out who he was or anything like this, you know, it could bring people his way and he wouldn't be prepared for that or whatever. You know, if it were, let's say, the Salem 7 or Agatha, or who knows who could be coming knocking at the door one day looking for the Scarlet Witch's son. It was just meant to keep him safe long enough for him to come into his own power, to which he would no longer need it. And then, of course, there was Agatha's card, which was the Three of Swords, which represented heartbreak, sorrow, and grief. As we know, her story with her son, the sacrifices there within, her coven, pretty much the entirety of her life, even though she puts on, like I said, a strong face, a strong mask. At the end of the day, I feel like most of that has to eat at her. Every time somebody is out of eyesight and she's kind of on her own, we see that facade just kind of disappear completely. We see her like wrestle with everything that's going on. But anytime she interacts with anybody or they kind of try to get close to her, she just puts on that smile, the deflective attitude, and just kind of dances away from all of her problems because she's not trying to face any of them. And I feel like at the end of this, there's going to be some kind of revelation about her past, about the events that transpired, like many things up until this point, like the stuff with Billy, like the stuff with Lilia. I think with Agatha, we're going to get something that sheds a different light on what we've known about her up until this point. We've speculated about that in previous episodes, so I'm not going to bore you with that again here, but I think there's a lot of stuff that could be around the corner for her that's going to be really interesting. And then, of course, that leads us into Lilia, who stepped into this room knowing full well that once she started this whole thing, that she was getting closer and closer to her own end, considering that since when she started this training, she was already aware about how she was going to go, which is wild. You know, when she hopped back mentally into her body and Rio met her there underground and we got to see her, like the skull face and everything. I hope we get a clearer image of her later. That revelation too was really well done. That the clues, again, have always been there, and as much as we kind of speculate one thing or the other, and even if we maybe kind of had an inkling of the case, it's always nice to just kind of straight up hear it. The original Green Witch is Lady Death herself, which, again, makes sense. We talked about that a little bit as well, you know, where do bodies go when they die? To the earth. So it's fitting. Fitting as well that they sunk into the earth when Billy flung them off the road. The way all these different pieces connected were just so well done. I loved the set design once they entered this final trial with this castle up on the hillside. And then once they entered in, they were a bunch of different iconic witches. Lilia being the good witch, Agatha being the wicked witch. Then we have the evil witch, the evil queen from Snow White and Jennifer. And then, of course, we had Billy as Maleficent, which was just, the costuming was just really, really well done. Hey guys, editing on me here real quick. I just want to kind of chime back in on this one because, you know, after the fact, I was kind of settling in on it. I guess Jennifer could very well be a number of other witches as well. That's just the immediate one that I jumped to. But also, Lilia, when I went to actually look at Glinda's old outfits and stuff like that, it doesn't actually match any of the ones I'm aware of. So maybe she was meant to be a different witch. With the shoulder covering and her dress, she kind of looks like the White Witch from Narnia, but the crown doesn't match. They all seem to match up with some kind of pop culture related witch, but I couldn't really narrow down the one she was in hindsight. You know, I immediately jumped towards Glinda, but you know, after looking up images of that, she doesn't really fit the bill. For me, like seeing the way Lilia coasts through life and the way people look at her, it makes me think of like the way people look at Alzheimer's patients, the way I've seen people look at it, the way, like, I got to admit, like I've felt like the frustration of dealing with somebody who's just kind of floating through life and what it's like to talk to them, like in the moment, like a conversation completely veers, they don't remember what they were talking about, what it's kind of like. And in this too, like the way we get to see it from her perspective, she can't control what happens to her. She can't control where she goes. It's frustrating when she comes into a situation where she doesn't know what they were talking about, when she becomes clear and coherent and she's like, I don't remember any of that. What happened? What were we talking about? I thought we were talking about something else. I don't know. I thought there was like a beautiful element to that where even in her final moments, and maybe that was like the case, maybe it did get worse in her age or something like that. Maybe it is meant to be an echo of that. And in a way, on your deathbed, as you inch closer and closer to closing the door, it gives you this ability to go back into these memories maybe you for a long time couldn't even access, to where you can quite literally kind of travel through time. You might not be here in the now all the time, and the more and more it increases, less and less so, that becomes likely that you are present, but you see people who have long since gone, you live these memories that have long since passed. It's almost like you are quite literally having your life slowly flash before your eyes. Like, I don't know. It reframed like a little bit of my point of view on that, because I've seen it happen twice with two different grandparents. And I don't know if that's exactly what they were going for, but that's what I equated it to, especially with her frustration in the moment. It also could equate to like people who just are naturally floaty, who, you know, you get that a lot with ADHD and stuff like that. I could be mid-conversation with somebody, then a thought will enter my head sometimes, and then I will fixate on that thought. But then once it comes time to be like, okay, hey, and I get asked a question about what was going on in the conversation, and then I get a little snappy or quippy. It's like, what, do you think I wasn't listening? And then I just have to have them repeat themselves all the same. It's like, no, but what were we talking about? What would you say? Could you repeat that? And then it just becomes frustrating for all parties, because one, you don't want to be accused of not listening, but then again, you weren't, but you couldn't really control that you weren't. It just kind of happened. You didn't intentionally check out from the conversation. But at the same time, you feel like you're attacked because why would I do something like that? You know, like it's just like, I don't know. Maybe that's just a me experience, but I have that happen quite frequently because I'm just always in my head a lot of the time too. So I can easily flip out of a present situation and into my thoughts really easily. I don't know, that could be another thing they're kind of alluding to or comparing it to, or I'm just reading it too deeply. But again, I love the way this all culminated. This and the last episode are my two favorite episodes of the season. I don't know which one I would put above the other, to be honest. Because, like, even though the last one gave us a lot of these clear-cut revelations, the artistry of this episode alone and the way it was paced and presented was just so good. Like, last episode answered so many of our questions and gave us a whole little perspective that shifts everything in the show. But this one was just, I just thought it was really well done. It does do a lot of those things from Lilia's perspective, but it's just like this beautifully tragic outcome. And again, that we never answered that question. You know, the first question that was asked once we entered that room, who is he? Is he William or is he Billy? I think the implication was that that body became a husk. When he was in that car wreck, William passed on and he inhabited what was left. He took over the body because his soul was still floating around as the anomaly was dissipating. So it latched onto that. Because it's not like he has any of William's memories. He just simply has his body, but he's in denial of that as well because he renounces Wanda as his mother because he doesn't want that to be the truth. He doesn't want that to be the reality, yet he's looking for Tommy, who is not William's brother. So he's just at conflict with who and what he is in a really interesting way, and I wonder how they're going to pay that off in the end or resolve that in the end. And again, I really can't wait for us to learn the truth behind Agatha's motivations, her past, and all these things. Because again, especially even more so with that card that she got dealt here when Lilia was doing her reading, do I think that there's something more about her past we are not in the know on yet. But next week, we have the final 2 episodes on the 30th. What a great way to close out October, and what a great time this show has been. I've been enjoying the ride the entire way through. It has been a wicked blast, I'll say. And I'm going to be sad to see it go, but I'm also curious how it's going to transition into the next segment of this trilogy of series with the Vision story. Will this set it up directly or indirectly? How are we going to get there? How does this come to an end? Where does this leave our characters? And what does this mean for the greater MCU once it does come to a conclusion? But guess we'll get all those answers next week. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to you. What did you think? How do you feel? What was your interpretation, your read on all of this? Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We're carrying the conversation after the video. Hope you enjoyed the reaction. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already. Remember, if you want to see the full reaction, as always, you can check it out over on Patreon or for Mermill's channel, get you access as well. And speaking of before you go, I want to shout out our channel legends. Manny Sherritt, York Korskov, Robert Ongmiano, Jeffrey L., Jake Cottrell, Eric Official, Casey Wood, Russell Crockett, and Sam Moyer. Thank you guys so much for continued support. But that's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.